I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Hey y'all, it's Kate and welcome back to another episode of Bibliotherapy Sunday. Today we're going to be talking about Beloved by Toni Morrison. This is one of my favorite books ever, and I'll talk about why in just a minute. So this is a bibliotherapy recommendation for being haunted, and we'll get to that in just a minute. First, let me give you a spoiler-free summary of Beloved so you can see kind of what it's about and if it might be a book for you. Seth was born a slave and escaped to Ohio, but 18 years later, she is still not free. She has borne the unthinkable and not gone mad, yet she's still held captive by memories of Sweet Home, that beautiful farm in Kentucky where so many hideous things happened. Meanwhile, Seth's house has been long troubled by the angry, destructive ghost of her baby who died nameless and whose tombstone is engraved with a single word, beloved. Seth tries to beat the past and move on to the future, but she learns that before any of that can happen, she has a difficult truth that she must first acknowledge to herself. And so I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars yet again. Toni Morrison's writing is deep and powerful and moving. She writes in a way that you will never forget her words. It haunts you, literally. It haunted me. I had nightmares. I had those nights where I read it before bed and I could see things happening in the dark and her words just kept coming back to me. She wrote Seth's story and her struggles so that readers could feel her pain and her happiness along with the character, no matter what their skin color, their nationality, or the time that they're reading this. This story is timeless in a way that no matter who you are or when you're reading it, you will still be able to relate to Seth. You'll be able to feel her struggles and her pain and her happiness. And you just feel for all of the characters in this book. So like I said, this is a bibliotherapy recommendation for being haunted. And there are so many different levels of being haunted in this book. You have the emotional levels of Seth's past and, all of the haunting that slavery has over Seth and all Black people, really. You have the physical haunting of both, Beloved and the scars that Seth got from slavery. You have the sexual haunting of being raped. And I guess before we go any further, we should give some trigger warnings for this. So trigger warnings include, all of the normals you get with slavery books, violence and rape and the racism and the use of the N-word. You get, I guess there's trigger warnings for, ghosts and haunted and horror, that kind of stuff. But more just the haunting that slavery has over Seth and Paul and, all of those characters that we meet during Beloved. This book, every single time I read it, it haunts me. And I can never forget this book. When someone asks for a truly haunting book that is just wrote so beautifully that you will never forget it, I recommend Beloved by Toni Morrison. So let me know in the comments below if you've read Beloved, what would you recommend this as a bibliotherapy recommendation for? Do you agree with it being haunting like it was for me? As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. There's no pressure to join either, but we have a ton of fun at both. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.